What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Now if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you know I did a review on this blue BMW 120D quite a while ago. But you don't know the whole story, so we don't have that car anymore. So if you wonder why it hasn't been in the channel for so long, but the story behind that is a lot more complicated than you would think. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. October last year, we bought the BMW from a dealership, okay? And the reason we went to go look at the car is it was really priced well. It was advertised at 249,000, and we knew the book value of the car was around between 300 and 310,000 rand. So there's a big gap there, around 60k difference, which is a good deal, right? Yeah, so we went to go check out the car, and the only thing we could really see in person was the bonnet didn't line up perfectly, and the one kidney grill was off. The rest of the car looked 100%. We asked for a test drive, took it for a test drive, but they didn't let us get on the highway, so we just went around the block in a pedestrian area, so we couldn't really get a lot of speed out of the car, so it was literally just a low speed around the block test. Then we stopped there, I checked on the computer for any errors, it showed nothing, and we thought the car was safer away. We didn't buy it on the spot, but we started the deal. Now we were trading in our old car for this BMW, and that would be the deal. It's 249,000. They would give us 100,000 for our old car, and we should be fine and everything, right? Okay. So let's start with the actual deal. So the car was put up for sale for 249,000, like I said previously. So it made sense to buy the car and fix the bonnet and the kidney grills, especially because the car was still on the motor plan, or so they claimed, as we would find out later. But these guys were next level shady. When they called us to come and sign for the car, they had some sort of deadline they had to be, and they were rushing us through it, so we couldn't even properly read the paperwork, because it was like the whole time, we need to go, get the deal done, like pushing us to get the thing just signed so we can get the car and go. And it was not like it was somebody that came off then shady, but when you look back, it was like he had a real excuse for getting to the next place. But that's not an excuse. We should still have read the papers. It is a deal, and it's our fault for not reading the papers in that aspect of the deal. Anyways, but in the end of the day, they added another 50k on top of the 249, so the car is on 300k, and they called it VAT. Now in South Africa, it is actually illegal to sell a car without the VAT already in the price. So if you advertise a car in South Africa, VAT has to be included in the sale price, if that makes sense. They didn't include it, so that was already technically illegal, but we just left it and went on because we didn't want to fight. In other words, a great deal just became an okay to bad deal. But that wasn't even the worst. The worst is coming. So grab a seat, get some popcorn, and just listen how badly they screwed us over. Okay, the first night we got the car home, we noticed the tires were swapped. Because the tires on the car, when we looked at the car, were all brand new. But when we looked at our house, 3 of the tires were worn and one of them had a bubble on the inside. So they swapped the tires before we bought them. That's already crazy shady. But it's still not the worst. The worst is coming. Just wait. Another thing we noticed that same night is the car was standing crooked. So instead of standing flat, it standing like this. So it looked like the one side of the car's shocks failed. What did we do? We took the car to a tire and shock place, replaced all 4 tires, and asked them what the hell was wrong with the shocks. Can they fix it for us? Turns out there was nothing wrong with the shocks. The shocks were fine. They were put in wrong in the car. So you had one front and one rear on the one side, and one front and one rear on the other side. In other words, the car was running with a front and a rear together and a front and a rear together. So the whole car was leaning because they had the wrong shocks in the wrong place. I don't know how you do that. Yeah. And the same day the car was at a suspension place, we learned the car was in a big accident. They let us know that it looks like the car was in a bad accident, and the one lower control arm and upper control arm, I don't know if it was both of them or the one, but it was bent badly. The control arm on the car was totally bent. Now after they told us the car was in a big accident, we thought, okay, let's just go to BMW and hear if they've got any information on this, because somebody has to know what went on. And BMW, when we gave them the VIN, they told us the motor plan is suspended. Now remember, this car wasn't sold to us as a rebuild. It was sold to us as a car with no issues. It's not a rebuild title car. It's a car that's on the papers still never been in a serious accident. So we bought the control arm and took it to a mechanic. The mechanic did obviously put it in, but he also noticed a few other problems with the car. Ain't that great? Some of the things he noticed was that the back of the lights were missing. In other words, if it rains and it gets wet, the water can actually get into the lights. He noticed that underneath the wheel lining there was rust. He saw the radiator brackets were broken. I don't know how you break that, but it was broken. He saw that the air filter box wasn't seated properly. The list just goes on. Now, after we learned all of this, we decided, okay, we need to do some research on this car. We need to find out what happened and try to find a way to get our money back. And if you've ever been in a legal battle like this, you know you need proof to get your money back. You're not going to get anything back if you don't have the proof that you are in the right and that guy is in the wrong. So my mom started researching the car. She did a VIN search in the car. Nothing popped up. There wasn't any crashes on the VIN or nothing. Then she somehow found the first owner of the BMW that bought it new at BMW in 2015. And luckily, this owner was very helpful. He told us he bought the car brand new and he had a crash in 2017. Now the story is he hit the pedestrian late at night who ran in front of the car. Now it might sound like he was in the wrong, but in South Africa, the people don't even look. They just run over the highway. So especially in certain areas of South Africa, they literally run over the highway. So somebody ran in front of him in the middle of the night, he hit the guy's in a coma. But the car, as you see in the photos, was basically written off. Arthur didn't have the funds to fix this car in 2017, so the car got auctioned off by the bank in 2017. Then between that auction and 2019, the car literally disappears. There's nothing on the car. There's no anything. The car was in service, the car was just nowhere. It was literally nowhere. 2019, the car reappeared in an auction and was bought by a company that specializes in accident damaged cars. They bought the car and then they sold the car to the dealership that we bought it from. So the car was a car bought for accident damaged vehicles. We got paperwork for all of this shit, so we've got proof. Now we knew the car was in a serious accident, if not more, because 2 years were missing. We had no idea what happened in those 2 years. So we decided enough is enough. We're gonna go to BMW and we're gonna get a quote of how much it's gonna cost us to fix all of this shit. And if they tell us, listen, this car is written off, then we should have the proof to take these people to court and get our money back. So the car was sent to BMW for a full inspection. They checked everything. They written a full invoice to get us a proper price quotation of what it would fix, what it would cost to fix the car, and their recommendation. By the way, they scrapped this chassis all the way to Germany. The chassis of that car is scrapped. The car isn't supposed to be road legal anymore, as it is now. I'm sure if you rebuild it, you can drive it. The car was sent to BMW and they gave us two things from that: a quote and proof that the car was in multiple accidents, one front and one rear, but still wasn't fixed to BMW standards. Again, car was missing for 2 years, so we can't find the second accident, but BMW saw a second accident. Now I'll mention all the separate parts that was broken, not like specifically, but talk about them. But let's just first look at the total. Now the car, as I said, the car was worth 300k if it's in pristine condition second-hand with that amount of mileage. The total was 214,000 rand to fix the car. But anyways, let's just go through some of the stuff that was broken. Okay, so BMW wanted to replace the entire front end, like cut it off and rebuilt it from scratch. Fenders, bumpers, grille, the structure part, everything. So as you can imagine, that's quite expensive. They wanted to replace the left headlight, the headlight brackets, the radiator shroud, electric fan, temperature sensor, and the roof was damaged and could not really be fixed. But all of this was good actually for us, because now we had what we needed to fight and to get our money back. We sent everything we got to the Consumers' Right Action people and they did nothing. Then my mom sent everything to the CEO of the bank that we bought the car with, and they took everything from there. They got us our money back, gave the car back, but yes, that was a tough one, eh? Don't just buy a car because the VIN search says there's nothing wrong. That means nothing, eh? You need to do proper research on the car. And I think actually if you buy a car, ask them if you can send the car to the manufacturer so they can do a proper check. before you buy it. And you can pay for the check. I mean, it's going to cost you like 900 rand for a diagnostic. So what, in US, like 90 bucks or 100 bucks to get the car checked by the manufacturer who made the car. But if they say the car is sharp, then at least you know this is a good car, we can use this car. Because what we did was just do a VIN search in the car. The VIN search said, hey, there's nothing wrong with the car, and the car was completely fucked. There was so much wrong with that car. It's not even funny. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll check you in the next one.
Yeah, whoa, where we at